Good afternoon. Thank you for coming to my session. My name is Shalini Paspaneti. I'm a program manager in C&E Security, here to talk to you about Office 365 Cloud App Security, specifically how you can use the service to discover shadow IT, as well as identify anomalous user behavior in Office 365. So with that, let's get started. So just to set the context here a bit before we dive into the session, cloud services are key to any IT organization's strategy today. In fact, our telemetry shows us more than 1,000 applications are used by cloud services to do their daily business. And of these, more than 75% are considered to be critical business services for the organization. But it's important to differentiate between these different services. There are those that are perhaps sanctioned, like Office 365, where the business has approved this service to be used by the users in the organization. And then there's others that perhaps IT is not aware that users are using these apps. Things like Box, Salesforce, or other JoinMe and other meetings that your users may be using where IT is not aware of this activity. In fact, more than 80% of the workers are admitting to using a non-approved SaaS application to do their work. So this isn't a nefarious purpose. Usually it's something they're working with a vendor, perhaps, uploading some sensitive content to these services, and the IT is not aware of this activity. So this is the challenge that Cloud App Security will solve for you in terms of identifying the various SaaS applications that users are using and give you visibility and governance around these apps, as well as give you deeper visibility into the sanctioned application, which is Office 365, in terms of user actions and detecting anomalous behavior in Office 365. So how does Cloud App Security do this? The first pillar is what we call discovery. This is where we are analyzing your firewall traffic logs, your on-prem firewall traffic logs that you upload in the console, and we're able to parse those and identify the application name as well as the user and traffic that's being sent to these services. And by evaluating the traffic and usage patterns of these SaaS services, you can then make some informed decisions on which apps to perhaps block on your firewall. The second pillar is what we call the app connector. Office 365, we are natively connected to the service, and we use the public API to pull in the audit log data to give you granular visibility on user actions, such as where's the user logging in from? Is there been admin action from an IP that's considered risky, or a location that we haven't observed before? These are all some of the visibility and actions that we can give you, as well as detections around that, such as impossible travel, where the user is logged in from 2 different geos within a short period of time. And if that particular action happens, being able to take a remediation behavior action, such as suspend the user account or notify the user if this is something abnormal. So let's double click on discovery. So as I said, the key features of discovery is we're able to parse your firewall log and identify the various apps that are being used. We can do this for more than 16,000 cloud applications that are supported in our Cloud App Catalog. The deployment model is completely out of band. There's no agent that you'd have to deploy on end user machines. It's simply uploading a traffic log from the console, and we were able to parse that and give you some analytics around that. And by reviewing this console, you can then make some decisions on which apps need to be blocked in your firewall. So let's go right into the console, and I'll show you what it looks like. So here I am in Office 365 Cloud App Security Console. To get started with discovery, I simply go to Settings and then go to Cloud Discovery Settings. And from here, I can click on Create Snapshot Report, where I'll be prompted to choose the appliance that I'm using in my network. There's a whole host of firewall appliances that we support out of the box. You can also choose Custom if your appliance is not listed here, and simply upload the log from this wizard. Once you've done that, within a few minutes, we're able to parse that log, and you'll get something like this, where you get a summary of the different applications that were discovered, the number of users, and the traffic that was included in that log. So in my case, I can see Cloud storage happens to be the top category in terms of the amount of traffic that's being generated. I can also pivot on the user as well as a number of transactions. Here I can see a high-level overview of the amount of traffic that's being generated from high-risk versus low-risk applications in my org. Who are the top users that are generating the traffic to these different SaaS applications, as well as specific applications. So in my case, it happens to be OneDrive for Business, but I can also see that Box is generating significant amount of traffic. Perhaps I am migrating to Office 365, so I'd like to understand who are these users that are continuing to use Box, and what's the use case that's driving them to use Box instead of OneDrive for Business. So let's double click on Box to understand exactly that. So now I can see who are these, the total number of users, the total number of traffic that's being generated to Box, and the activity of users over the last couple months. And if I scroll down, I can give visibility on the amount of transactions, both upload and download. Again, these are the users that are continuing to use Box, and perhaps I need to contact them and understand what's the use case that they're continuing to use Box. Notice that there's IP addresses. Perhaps these are data center VLANs that should not be accessing cloud services such as Box, and I can make some informed decisions now, informed with this information on which apps to block, or before when I started, I didn't have visibility to this. So great. So that's the first pillar, is discovery. The second component is user actions in Office 365. So we pull in the audit log data of using the public API of Office 365. So here in the activity log, I am given a detailed list of all the events that are happening in the service. I can also filter on specific activity type, such as show me all the administrative activity that's happening in my tenant. Or here I'm choosing to filter by application. I can also filter on show me all the activities from a specific geo. Maybe all your users are based in United States, and you'd like to understand if there's activity to Office 365 from another geo. So let's just go, so once I've filtered in SharePoint Online, let's double click on one of the events here. So this is where a user is modifying a file in SharePoint Online. If I click on General, I can see where's the IP address that this activity is happening from, the ISP, the location. So the audit logs that we're ingesting from the API, we enrich that with Microsoft Threat Intelligence, and can tell you if this IP is a risky IP, and of course the geolocation that you're seeing here. And as a SOC operator, perhaps if I'm looking at this, I'd like more context in terms of what else has this user done recently? Is this user an admin user, or is he a regular user? What are there open alerts for this user in the last few days? So here I can say, show me the similar activity for the last 48 hours, or show me what else has happened from this IP address recently, to help me investigate if this is something that's a normal use case, or if this is something that I need to take action on. So if this is something that's abnormal behavior that I've identified, I can choose to click create a policy and be proactively alerted for this scenario going forward. So if I click on new policy from search, we can create an activity policy with the filters that we used before. So you can see it's already populated based on the previous screen. And if this happens, what do I want to do? I can choose to simply create an alert and send it as an email to your SOC operators, or I can choose to take some governance action, such as suspend the user account, or require the user to sign in again if this happens. So let's go back to the deck. So that example that you just saw was an example of a rule-based detection, where I specified a set of conditions that are important to me, and based on that, an alert was generated. Cloud App Security can also alert you for UEBA, or User and Entity Behavior Analytics, where we're able to analyze users' behavior in the past and alert you if that is something abnormal for the user. So example here is perhaps there is an admin that is logging in from an ISP that we haven't seen before and has taken some action such as mass resetting of passwords or changing mailbox forwarding rules for a set of users. So this is something abnormal, and Cloud App Security can alert you of this behavior. So let's take a look at some of the other detections that we do out of the box for UEBA. Things like malicious insider. Perhaps there's an employee that has discovered that he's going to be laid off next week, and he's trying to download all his files from OneDrive for Business on his personal machine before his account will be disabled next week. Or a compromised account where an administrator credentials were compromised, and there's activity originating from a location that we haven't seen before and actions that we haven't seen before for that particular user. In addition, data exfiltration, where user is sharing content in OneDrive for Business with a personal email address. And if that happens, perhaps you'd like to get notified. And then lastly, rogue applications. These are applications where user may have installed a plugin or an application when consented to provide access to his mailbox content. These apps, so IT wouldn't have visibility into this without Cloud App Security. So here what you're seeing is the app permission page where I can discover, show me all the applications that my users have consented to, and also identify how prevalent is the application in my organization, as well as the permissions that it has. So as when I've installed the application in Outlook as a plugin, perhaps I've granted read and write access, and here the admin can see that this is happening and be proactively create a policy, just like we created the activity policy earlier, to be notified if this happens, and I can also revoke the permissions automatically if this scenario happens in my organization. The other scenario that we've recently introduced into the service is being able to automatically create security workflows. So when we created the activity policy earlier, we chose to create an alert as well as send an email to the SOC operator. Perhaps in your organization, you have different SOC organizations. For a user who's based in United States, there's a different set of users who are responsible for that, versus if a user is based in the United Kingdom, the alert should go to a different group in the security organization. So you can do that with integration. We've integrated with Microsoft Flow that allows you to create these custom workflows. Another use case is be able to gather some additional information for the user. So example is perhaps we've detected an impossible travel alert for the user, and you can send an email to that user and ask them, hey, is that you that's logging in from a different geo? And based on his response, you can automatically create a ServiceNow ticket or disable the user account based on his response. If he says, no, that's not me logging in from Nigeria, perhaps you'd like to automatically disable his user account if this is a privileged user. So those are some examples. So let's walk through that scenario in the console. So here I am, before we talked about the activity policy, so here's a listing of the different anomaly detection policies that we have in the service. For one of the anomaly detection policies, where if we've detected an activity from an anonymous IP address, I have set up a workflow, a custom workflow that I've created to send this alert to Flow. And by doing this, this alert will be routed to different operators based on the AD attribute of this user. So here is, I've logged in from a different, from a Tor IP, Tor browser earlier to generate this alert a few minutes ago. And this alert was not only shown in the MCAS console, but also routed to my SOC operator, who is then presented with some options. Hey, we've detected an alert from a Tor IP address for this user. What would you like to do? Would you like to open a ticket in ServiceNow? Would you like to go ahead and disable that user account? Or would you like to simply resolve that alert because this is a false positive? So these custom workflows that you can create based on how your SOC organization operates. Back to the deck. So what we reviewed so far is Office 365 Cloud App Security. There's also a couple different versions that I want to highlight, which is Microsoft Cloud App Security, which includes not only Office 365, but also other cloud services like Salesforce, Box, Google, AWS, and then that is part of EMS E5 SKU. And then the last product is CAS Discovery, which is only the discovery component that we walked through. It's included in the EMS E3 SKU. So just a few call to actions then you can set up if you're not using a Cloud App Security today. I'd encourage you to get started with a trial. These are some links here. Feel free to stop by the booth. There's folks there that are staffing the booth, as well as learn more in the tech community site. There's conversations there, as well as subscribe to our blog and visit our website to learn more information on the service. There's a variety of sessions that are going on for Cloud App Security, some that have already taken place, but you can, of course, view them on demand. And then there's a couple more that are happening tomorrow. So with that, I have a couple minutes for any questions. And of course, I'll be available after the session as well if there's anything else you'd like to follow up on. Thank you so much.